Language is the basis of verbal communication, and understanding the nature of it is key to effective presentations because language can inspire audiences to listen and make the speaker's ideas memorable. Since language is such a powerful part of our lives, this short video focuses on how competent speakers can harness its power. The careful use of language can make the difference between you giving a remarkable speech or giving one that's quite unforgettable. Consider the case of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Indeed, many speakers before him have made the very same persuasive arguments regarding the lack of civil rights. But we point to Dr. King as the speaker for the civil rights movement because he was a master of language. He employed the power of language to move his audiences in ways that they had never been moved before, and we remember him for his eloquence. There are other aspects of language you should consider when thinking about how language choices impact the audience's perception of you. Part of having strong credibility as a speaker is convincing your audience of your sincerity, both in terms of your ideas and your character. When you elevate your language simply for the sake of using big words when small words will actually do, audiences may perceive you as being insincere. Your goal as a speaker should be to be as clear as you possibly can. One of the primary reasons we miscommunicate is because language is an abstract phenomenon. Meanings exist in people's understandings and not in the words you use. Therefore, if you're telling a story about a dog, you could be talking about a German Shepherd while the person that you're talking with is thinking about a poodle. So, if you do not use concrete language, you run into the possibility of at least sending a different message than you had intended. So when you're writing or putting together your speech, look for words that you might need to define more clearly. The content of your presentation should be void of language that presumes negative things about other people based on their group affiliation, such as their religion, age, gender, or sexual orientation. Biased language is not only inaccurate and unethical, but it is likely to marginalize, alienate, or even offend your listeners. Another way to avoid language that obstructs communication is to avoid the use of jargon if it is not appropriate. It is appropriate to use jargon when you know that your audience will understand the terms that you're using. For example, if you're a computer science major and you're presenting to a group of other computer science majors, using jargon will actually help to establish your credibility with that audience. However, using terms such as RAM or binary code with a general audience may not go over well, and you might end up confusing the audience rather than informing or persuading them. Another way to avoid confusion is to avoid using slang when it is not appropriate. Slang is language that some people might understand, but that is not considered acceptable in formal or polite conversation. Slang may be a poor choice for a speaker because some members of your audience may not be familiar with the slang terms in which you're using. It seems obvious, but this fact bears repeating. You should refrain from using profanity in your presentations. One of the primary rules of all aspects of public speaking, such as audience analysis, delivery, topic selection, is that you should never ignore audience expectations. Audiences do not expect speakers to use profane language, and in many cases, doing so will hurt your credibility with the audiences. So, the next time you have to speak about an issue, remember the importance of language and its impact on our lives. Carefully consider what language you will use and how those language choices make a difference in how your audiences will define and understand your topic.